Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. For those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always, double salute. Now, today's video, we're actually talking about how to get high limit credit cards that pull Transunion only, even if you have less than a 700 credit score, okay? Now, here's the thing about it. I always tell people, most people, they use, they'll look at their Vantage score and they like, oh, I have a 700. And then they pull their FICO score and like, wait a minute, how come I'm only a 650, right? Well, here's the thing about it. Vantage score, especially when you're using Credit Karma, it's padded numbers, all right? So those numbers are not the most accurate. Now, here's something I want you all to understand. Like with Capital One credit cards, okay? Capital One, they may pull your TransUnion Vantage 3 score, okay? Or they may pull your FICO 8 score, okay? Now, think about, let's talk about American Express. American Express, they will give you your Vantage 3 score, right? However, your Vantage score is not the same numbers as your FICO scores. So with your American Express, they pull your FICO 8, okay? They pull your FICO 8, all right? But they will give you your Vantage score, your Vantage 3 score. And so you're thinking like, wait a minute, why is these numbers higher than these numbers? One reason the banks give you these free credit scores is because it's just following government protocol, okay? So they're not always giving you the most accurate score, okay? So just keep that in mind when you say that, oh, the banks gave me my score. In reality, that's not the score. Most of the time, that's not the score that the banks are actually pulling to actually determine if they're going to give you a credit card, line of credit, or a loan, all right? They're more likely with the traditional banks, other than Wells Fargo, do FICO 9. Like I said, with Capital One, they may do FICO 8, or they may do Vantage 3 TransUnion, okay? But most people know that Capital One pulls FICO. Most people know that with Capital One, they'll pull all three, okay? So I'm just setting the platform so you can understand. Now, these first few credit cards we're talking about, they actually pull FICO 9, okay? And we're going to talk more about that. Now, here's something else that you have to understand. Whenever you're trying to apply for a credit card, okay, and say that you're working on your credit report or you're not working on your credit report. So if you're working on your credit report and you don't want any of those old negative items to come back, you have to put a credit freeze on your credit report, okay? However, if you're through fixing your credit report and you're rebuilding your credit and stuff, and you don't want those negative items to come back, you have to put a credit lock. That helps you prevent from like identity theft or a third-party company buying one of your old accounts and putting it back on there or whatever. But you need the credit lock because it makes it much easier. So when you're applying for a credit card and stuff, it's much easier to unlock your file than it is to unfreeze your file, okay? And so within a certain window, if you have a freeze on your credit file and stuff, if you don't unfreeze it in a certain amount of time, they'll deny you, even though you may have those numbers, okay? So that's the reason that you have to understand the difference between the credit lock and a credit freeze, okay? Now, let's talk about some of these here cards that give high limits. Like the Apple Card. The Apple Card is pretty good about giving you high limits, okay? And it's through Goldman Sachs. And they pull TransUnion, okay? So it's no hard pull to pre-qual. They pull FICO score 9 TransUnion, okay? Now, some of you are like, well, how do I know my FICO 8 from my FICO 9? Well, if you click the link below in the description, okay, there's a link where you can actually pull your FICO score, okay, your real FICO score. Now, what I would do, if you use the link in the description, get the $39.99 program and sign up for a 30-minute consultation, and I'll do a free analysis of your personal credit so that we can go over what's actually holding you back from actually getting credit that you actually want, okay, and the higher limits. And also I made a video, so if you have questions about what should I put on the application, I actually made a video that tells you what never to do on a credit card application, that if you put a comment below, I'll actually send you that video as well, okay? Now, Goldman Sachs, they bought out General Motors credit cards, right? So here is something that's huge. And the reason it's huge, again, because it's Goldman Sachs. Number two, their credit cards are pulling from FICO 9 TransUnion, okay? And you don't have to have that high 700 credit score. Like I said, so if you between 680, 700, you'll still be able to get this here credit card, okay? So that's what you need to understand about the data metrics of this. Again, if you're trying to figure out what to put on a credit card application, put a comment below, hey, let me see the video, and I'll share that video with you, okay? Now, let's talk about Upgrade. Upgrade being a fintech company, right? Now, if you're an individual, you have a high debt to income ratio. They not only offer credit cards, but they also offer loans as well. So the minimum credit score is a 560. Average credit score is a 680. Excuse me, a 678. Now their loans go from 500 up to 50,000. All right, and their average income is about 78,000. That's a hint, people. You know, I'm trying to set you up so that you're able to get approved for these here high limit credit cards and stuff. So I'm just giving you some hints on what may be possible. All right, so please leverage off of those hints. Now you have to have at least 2 accounts on the credit file. So for those of you that just found this video, I did make a video. If you have no credit and you're starting out building your credit, I did make a video explaining you what would be the best credit cards to start out with. Put a comment below, request that video, and I'll send that video over to you as well, okay? Now, the maximum debt to income ratio, the reason I like this company, period, is because you can have up to a 75% debt to income ratio and still be approved, okay? That's the reason that I like them. Another thing about Upgrade is this. Unfortunately, their situation, they don't operate in Colorado, Idaho, New York, Vermont, Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. That's the unfortunate thing about this. Now, let's talk about Navy Federal. Everybody wants to be a part of Navy Federal. As a matter of fact, I made a video explaining some of the opportunities that can happen to help you become a part of Navy Federal. So if you want to see that video, put a comment below. But most people, when they become members of Navy Federal, they're focused on the flagship card because they're like, man, I want this $80,000 credit card. However, it's certain criteria in order to get the maximum amount of money from Navy Federal, okay? One of the things is not only becoming a member, but your internal credit score. How much are your deposits? What's the utilization of your other Navy Federal credit cards and stuff like that? By the way, I want to tell you guys something. You don't have to have a perfect credit score to get this Navy Federal flagship card. You don't, okay? I actually recently had a client that was coming out of a bankruptcy, joined Navy Federal, and they got this flagship card, right? So that's the thing about it. You don't have to, and I'll tell you another secret, guys. I know some of you all may have had credit cards and you're trying to do Navy Federal credit cards and you're trying to get credit line increases, right? Well, the secret so that you won't get the hard inquiry is to do it on the app on your phone. So you open up the app on your phone and you apply for the credit line increase, okay? But your account has to be over 91 days old in order for you to do that. As a matter of fact, I may make a video to go more in detail about it, but that's just a little secret. So if you're trying to get a credit line increase, not over the phone, on your app is much easier, okay? Now, that being said, let's talk about U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank, I like them. The reason I like them because they operate like a credit union. They're very flexible. They pull from Transunion, just like Navy Federal and the other cards. They pull from Transunion. Only thing about it, they pull TransUnion FICO 8. Okay, so they'll pull TransUnion FICO 8. And like I said, if you want a free credit analysis done on your credit report, even if you're in credit repair now and you don't understand what it is that they're doing to help you fix your credit or whatever, if you click the link below, get your FICO score, make sure it's the $39.99 program, and schedule a 30-minute consultation. I will go over line by line of each of one of your accounts and everything, and I'll share with you some other things that can help you boost up your credit score as well. All right, that's even while you're having your credit worked on. All right, so if you want that, click the link below, get the FICO score, the $39.99 program, because it's going to give me more data points, at least 28 higher data points, so that I can go over it with you and show you the difference between the FICO 8, FICO 9, and suggest what accounts you should actually be applying for, and schedule the 30-minute consultation, okay? Now, here's another one. Guys, one of the things I always tell you is the easiest credit cards to go after is co-branded credit cards. So co-branded credit cards is definitely, and when you're trying to get into Barclays, I would say the airline is probably one of the easiest. The NFL card, it's okay, yeah, but I like the Frontier card. All right, I do fly Frontier whenever I'm flying back home and stuff like that, but nonetheless, get a co-branded credit card. Now, Barclays pulls FICO 8, right? TransUnion all day, okay? They're not changing that, all right? But again, if you have between 680 and 700 credit score, then you're in that range to get this here card, okay? So don't think that you have to have a 720 plus higher score. That's not the case here. All right, not with the co-branded card, okay? So that's a tip for you, okay? Now, if you have questions or more questions about personal credit, business credit, how to try to get qualified for business credit funding, then click the link below, go to three-way funding, or schedule a one-on-one consultation. This is Houston with HoustonMcMiller.net. Thank you.